Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all for letting me have that little Harry Potter break. Now we are going back to business books, doing reviews, doing strategy planning and everything. So hope y'all are ready for that this year. I have a journal and it's a beautiful journal. I use this for everything related to business. So today we're going over the 7 strategies for wealth and happiness from Jim Rohn. I'll go ahead and link his audiobook in the description below. Now to all the notes and everything that I took. This is probably like from the first hour or something. I was listening to his book and he was giving some really good insight. And so I grabbed my notebook, I grabbed a pen, I just sat down here and I was, taking notes. His audiobook is obviously more than an hour long. This is just the notes that I took. Like I said, I definitely recommend listening to his book, taking notes along with it, and then also following through on all your strategies, on all your goals and everything as well. So one of the things that he talks about in the beginning is, what do I want in the next 1 to 10 years. I have also a growing playlist, which is pretty much like business and advice and like Tony Robbins or Steve Harvey and entrepreneurs and different things like that. So I'll link that as well too. But I was listening to one of those videos and they were talking about, people don't plan a month in advance really, or like they do plan a month in advance, but the only reason that they plan a month in advance is because it's, from one paycheck to the next paycheck. And that's not how you should plan at all. You should plan, okay, this is my, like 10-year strategy. This is like what I want overall in life. This is, I'm gonna break it up into decades. Hopefully I have decades, but we don't know. Break it up into decades, I'm gonna break it up into years, months, weeks, and then a day-by-day basis to create the life that I want. So, Jim Rohn said, what do I want in the next 1 to 10 years? These are the questions that you wanna ask and answer. And what did he say? He said 50. It took me a while to write down 50. The questions to answer for that section. First question, what do I want to do? In 1 to 10 years, like what is something that I want to accomplish pretty much? What do I want to see? What do I want to be? What do I want to have? Where do I want to go? And what would I like to share? Whenever I wrote these down, these are goals like own a thriving company, make money in stocks, investments, real estate, have a library. These are different things that are gonna take time to collect and to do. And it's not something that I can just do like automatically tomorrow. These are things that are goals that will take time and that will take planning, which is a good thing. Those are the 6 questions that Jim Rohn asked, and he said just take, like I think it was like 20 minutes or something to go ahead and write down 50 goals. So I wrote down my 50, told y'all a couple. Then he said from those 50, pick your top 16 goals. So you write down your top 16 goals and why you want to achieve them. So you have your 1 year, your 3 year, your 5 year, and those are going to be things that you can accomplish in 1 year. So in 1 year, I want to, so what I wrote is be happy. Being happy will add the well-being of my life, and those will add to the well-being of my life and those around me. My mental state goes hand in hand with everything and every other aspect of my life, and it needs to be carefully guarded and nourished. I mean, I can, like wake up every day and be like, okay, I'm gonna be happy today. And if I don't guard that and if I don't nourish that as well too, it's never going to grow. It's like throwing a seed on a sidewalk and just being like, okay, if the birds eat it, the birds eat it. If, like all of a sudden dirt gets on it and it's gonna grow, it's gonna grow. But if I don't choose to, like plant that seed in some grass, if I don't choose to keep watch over it, and if I don't choose to care for it, nothing is going to come of it. A 3-year goal, this is my dream house. And it's like a dream house / apartment. I own the house with the open kitchen and tall living room windows and open wall. So I have a very specific vision in my mind of what exactly that looks like, and it's beautiful and I cannot wait to have it. That is a 3-year goal. The why is my personal dream house, also a necessity, living / shelter. And it's a reminder that hard work and everything can be achieved. That dream house, that dream place to be, is not just, like, oh, like that's a really nice place that I want. It's me actually having a place to go, actually having shelter. Not just shelter, but the shelter that I've created for myself. That is a 3-year goal. And so you write down your whys, and then you also write down like your short-term goals and different things that you're going to use to get there. Okay, so what you want to do is set down your goals. Then you go through and you choose your top goals of, like this is what you're going to do, or this is what I want, this is why I want it, and this is how I'm going to get it. If you don't have those 3 things at the least set in your week-to-week basis, day-to-day basis of looking at it and being like, okay, you have to manifest things into your life, which I know so many people are like, if I just say I'm rich, I'm gonna be rich. and then you just don't do anything about it, all you're going to do is be saying that you're rich. If you say you're going to be rich and you want to be rich, decide, one, what is the number? What is the number in your head? Write that down on a piece of paper and work towards that. Work at like starting an e-commerce business. Work at it and asking for a raise for your job so that you can start the e-commerce business, so that you can go ahead and work on becoming rich and keeping the money. And so Jim Rohn also talks about that, but I was listening to that part in the car and I wasn't able to take notes, but he was talking about for everything that you make, say $2 to buy a bottle of shampoo and you sell it for $3. Yeah, now you have a whole dollar left over. You didn't make $3, you made $1. Then, let's say you go ahead and buy it again, but instead you buy 2 things of shampoo, and so it costs you $1.80 each. Now all of a sudden you've made $1.20 on each shampoo bottle, and you cannot spend your whole $1.20. What you're gonna have to do is break it up 10%, always tithing and donation. It's easier to give 10 cents out of $1 than 10,000 out of 100,000. I can guarantee you that. So if you start small, the big things won't seem so big. I was listening to Tony Robbins this morning, and because like I said, I did not take notes whenever Jim Rohn was talking because I was listening to it in the car. I did go back and take notes on something though. Okay, so the personal development part of his book, he said, who will I have to become to get what I want? On Pinterest, I have a board called Yes, This Is Me, and I have a board called Future Me. For me, like Pinterest is pretty much a vision board of my life. For me, that's something that is just absolutely wonderful and huge to me in my life because I think that having a vision board is so important because it keeps you on track of what you want and you're able to physically see it, and it's wonderful. And so for the personal development part, I'll go ahead and I'll just share with y'all what I wrote. So I need to be the person who takes only the answer she came for or better. Someone who walks with a sense of purpose and doesn't let the small bad things ruin something. And a woman who knows what she wants and gets it regardless of how. Pretty much kind of ruthless. But if I'm after something, I'm getting it. Dresses like she owns the building she walks into. Has a kind heart and shows it when possible but doesn't get walked on. And there's the thing that I saw forever ago. Do no harm but take no shit. Yes. An air of sophistication is around at all times, and someone who gives respect and is respected as well. The good qualities of Gatsby, the mind of Jim Rohn, soul of Tony Robbins, and desire to learn like Tai Lopez, and dedication unmatched. Someone who doesn't have idols but equals, and works until they see the same. So pretty much anyone who, like for me, I absolutely love Tony Robbins. I feel like if I continue on this path, he's not going to be someone who I'm like, wow, Tony Robbins, like one day I'll maybe meet him, but someone who I could just call and be like, hey Tony, how's it going? I'm having a barbecue, I'm inviting a bunch of people, would you like to come? So someone who's not an idol, but someone who's an equal to me. And I feel like you should treat everyone as an equal and that they should see you as the same. Always well-groomed and an action taker. Someone who looks the part, pretty much. Who looks the part, who feels the part, and who is the part. That's who I'm going for. That is my personal development goal, and you will see that transformation slowly start to happen. So I'm excited. I'm excited, and you should be excited. And I hope that as you go through this video with me, you're like, let me start taking those notes, and you're just writing everything down. For me, I want to share knowledge, which is this YouTube video, which is this YouTube channel. Every business book, every audiobook, everything on, finance to business or whatever that I learn about, I want to share with y'all because knowledge is knowledge, but what's the point of having it if nobody else knows? Like that sounds kind of cocky, but who was I listening to yesterday? I was listening to Steve Harvey on my Grow playlist as well too, if you want to go look at that. He was saying, like knowledge is great and everything, smart, that's wonderful, but like nobody's gonna know if you don't share it. And so this is pretty much, this YouTube channel is like a diary of me being like, okay guys, this is what I learned and this is what I want you to learn as well too. Or this is something that I read and this is something that, this is what I got from it. That's pretty much what this YouTube channel is, and it's also a diary for me to go back to and be like, okay, so what did I think of that book? Or like, wait a second, I read it, but what was it about? I can go back and, like, look at this video, so if I'm looking back at this later on in life, it's like, wow, that was strange. Anyway, like I said though, I was listening to Tony Robbins this morning, and a lot of what he said and a lot of Jim Rohn's book kind of went hand in hand. It was about goals and it was about finance. So I'll just go over this really quickly because we're here for Jim Rohn, and we're just gonna end on Tony Robbins. But pretty much, So the Tony Robbins tape, I'll leave that specific one in the link below. He was talking about, you know, finance and everything, like changing your mind on finance. Write down the pain you have because of financial lack. Write down like a small list of things, and then what you associate with money. And so you write down that as well. What you grew up hearing about money is the next thing. And so the way you associate money versus what you grew up with learning about money can be two completely different things. If you grew up hearing, you know, like money is bad and only rich, spoiled brats have money, that's subconsciously stuck in your brain. And so whenever you go out to make more money or something, you're almost sabotaging yourself because you're like, wow, like I really want to make this money. But then at the same time, just rich, spoiled brats are the ones who have money, and I don't want to become that. Instead, you go ahead and change your philosophy. So you counter those beliefs. Think people who have money know exactly what they want. Something like that. And you change that, and you change the way you think about it, and all of a sudden you're not sabotaging yourself anymore. All of a sudden you're like, okay, this is who I need to become. This is what I need to think and what I need to do. And bada bing, bada boom, you got it. And then also, you know, write down like how your life would be better with money. So, you know, you write down the reasons that the pain because of financial lack, you go from that and you also write down the opposite, and you'll write down how your life would be better with money. And it, you know, not the pain, but the pleasure you would get from it. And then we have, you know, countering the beliefs, like I just said. And then we also have just notes. So your affirmation that you write in the morning, or you don't have to write it, you can say it, you can, but I think writing it is probably best. Tony said it, and he had said something about like God and wealth, and I was like, I really, really like that. So what I wrote down is God's wealth is surrounding me and calling. I, from here on out, will stop denying myself his will. Pretty much saying that like, it's out there. If God's meant for me to have it, like why am I sitting here being like, no, it's okay. But instead being like, you know what? I'll take those millions and I'll invest it and I'll give back. I'm not gonna say no. And then also to like how to get the money. He said, you know, there are these questions that you need to ask and answer. You know, what is something that you love to do, that you do because you love to do and you're doing it already? What is something that people will enjoy and invest in? How can you do it massively? And how can you do it intelligently? Doing it massively and doing it intelligently can be two different things, because you can be a fool doing something massively and it's not gonna work, and you can be doing something very like intelligent and doing it with integrity, but not doing it on a massive scale. So you marry those two, and you also marry what you love to do and what people will love to invest in or enjoy, and you marry all of those things together and you go for it. And if it doesn't work the first time, that's okay. It's not gonna be your first business that you start that's going to be a success. It's going to be maybe your like third or your sixth business or something, but as long as you keep pursuing it, you're gonna get there. And then the last on the notes from Tony were out of every dollar, 10% you use to reduce debts, and 10% you invest back. If you haven't read The Richest Man on Babylon, I don't know if I did the book review on that or not. If I haven't, I need to, but I remember reading that one and it had so many good finance lessons. He says pretty much learn to live on, I believe it was like 70%, and this is what you need to do with the other 30%. So what I do is I take out 50% of my check. I don't have a job that pays, you know, like super, super well, but I've learned to live. So I take out 50% of my check and go put it in a joint bank account I have. And then I take the rest of that and then I split it up into my checkings and into my savings. And then I allot myself $50 a week. Yes, and then his 10-day challenge is what he ended on saying, for 10 days, write down 3 ideas on how you can make money. So that means at the end of not even a whole week, you have 30 ideas on how to make money. At least start with executing one. Not all of them are gonna be good ideas. Not all of them have to be good ideas, but you start with 3 a day. That's it. So this has been Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins kind of mixed together. And if you found this video educational and you think it'll help, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos as well too. Leave a comment down below of any books that you think I should review or that I should read. I have a lot of books that I haven't gotten to just yet, but I will get to them and I will let y'all know, you know, like the review, just the breakdown of everything of it. So thank y'all for allowing me this time, and I will see y'all next week with some more finance and business books.